The Chicago Bears have signed a player and they have cut a player, and we're going to talk about it here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. My name is Harrison Graham. Before we get to all of that, welcome in. Happy Sunday. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I put out my Bears winners and losers from the Bills game earlier today. Feel free to check that out, plus my instant reaction to Caleb Williams' debut that went out yesterday. So lots of good content on the channel, lots good to come. So hit that subscribe button, plenty of stuff to look forward to. Okay, the Bears have signed defensive tackle Jaylon Hutchings and released running back Demetric Felton. I have thoughts on both angles, so stick with us here. Let's start with the signing here. UDFA rookie defensive tackle out of Texas Tech, 6-year college player, 6 foot, 305 pounds. Kind of a bowling ball. I was watching a few clips of him earlier when the news came in. And the first thing I thought of was he kind of reminds me of Andrew Billings, like low to the ground, really good in the run game. Gives you a little pass rush too. Over 6 seasons in college, had 11 sacks, including 3.5 last year. 7.5 tackles for loss, both career highs this past season for the Red Raiders. So pretty productive player at defensive tackle position in college, not just an empty stats guy, which a lot of these defensive tackles kind of are. It's not really their job to litter up the stat sheet, but he was able to do that just a little bit here. Aaron Wilson had the news first that they were signing him, and he reported that Hutchings is fully recovered from a torn meniscus that he served, and now he joins the Bears after a successful workout. He was one of a few guys that worked out for the Bears. Greg Island, they worked out 3 other defensive linemen. Let me find the list here. It was Daniel Wise, who spent some time with the Cowboys, Marquice Copeland, and Joe Gaziano, ultimately signing Hutchings. And listen, they're trying to mix and match on that defensive line. A couple of thoughts here. One, it's a 90-man roster. This time of year, you see some shuffling on the back end. But 2, I've said all along, defensive tackle is the thinnest position group on this football team. You've got Javon Dexter, who I think is progressing nicely. Andrew Billings, who's a nice nose tackle. Zach Pickens is your third guy who can play both spots, which is valuable. Had a sack in the preseason game yesterday, so that's good. But you don't really have anyone beyond those 3. And let's be real, Dexter and Pickens are still somewhat unknowns, especially Pickens. So you got to figure out if you can find a 4th defensive tackle, or you're just going to go light at that position and kind of load up at edge. We'll see once the 53-man roster comes out here in a few weeks. But I like this addition. I was reading a couple tweets about this guy and saw someone say, I think it was that Chicago Bears Connections Twitter page, so kudos to him if it was him. If not, hey, I'm giving you credit here. He said that he was one of his favorite sleeper defensive tackles in this class, and that he had a 4th to 5th round grade on him. The injury was a big reason why he didn't go drafted. Who knows if he would have gotten drafted had he been healthy, but he did pop a few times when I watched him in college. I mean, I'm a Big 12 football guy, so I've seen Texas Tech play a lot, and he was a name I recognized when I saw this signing come through. So kind of looked him up. I was like, oh yeah, that big kind of bowling ball guy. He makes plays. So look, obviously a big jump to the NFL coming off injury. This is a whole different deal, but there's opportunity. Like if you we're going to pick a position group on this team right now to sign as an undrafted free agent midway through training camp and have a chance to make the roster, I'd say defensive tackle is that position. So, do I think he's got a great chance to make the team? No, but he certainly has a chance. There's no question about that. So, before we continue, today's show is sponsored by GameTime. The proud ticketing sponsor of this app is GameTime. And listen, GameTime has been a sponsor here for a while. They've hooked me and my wife up for several events, and you can get a great deal as well. The best ticketing app out there is GameTime. They specialize in last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed. Went to the Home Run Derby a few weeks back. Hit up another Rangers game as well. And if you guys want to go check out Bears Bengals this Saturday, GameTime is the app for you. So here's what I want you to do. Search GameTime in your app store or click the link in the comments and description. Create a GameTime account, and then use promo code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms apply there. Code CHATSPORTS when you create an account with GameTime. Trust me, you are not going to be disappointed. GameTime is fantastic. They show you views from the seats within the app. It's a really user-friendly app. So, like if grandma's trying to buy tickets and she doesn't know what she's doing, it's a lot easier on GameTime than some of these other ones. You can trust me on that. So get going with GameTime today. They're awesome. Those last-minute tickets are really what they specialize in. Those prices tend to drop and they give you good deals on the day of events. So get started today. It's game time. Go check it out. Let's get to the Demetric Felton news now. As the Bears had to cut a player to make room for Hutchings. That is Demetric Felton, and kind of predictable, right? They brought in Felton because they had some injuries to Ian Wheeler and Travis Homer a couple of weeks ago, needed somebody for the Hall of Fame game. And then yesterday we saw him get one carry against Buffalo. Not only did he only get one carry, we saw Ian Wheeler play well. We saw Travis Homer get a lot of snaps. We saw Velus Jones get a lot of snaps at running back as they're trying that as an experiment. So just a numbers game. Felton just didn't have a path to make this roster. Too many running backs. So they cut him loose. And listen, I think just kind of as a side note, just to kind of expand this conversation, this running back room is pretty interesting all of a sudden. Swift, he's clearly your starter. He's going to be a threat out of the backfield, both in the passing and run game, especially as a pass catcher. I think they're going to use him a lot in that regard. I still like Khalil Herbert, but what is his role with this team? Roschon Johnson didn't play yesterday, but he's certainly going to be on the roster. Travis Homer played a lot of snaps. He can play special teams. They seem to want to give Velus Jones a chance there. And I got to tell you, Ian Wheeler, I know it was, late third, fourth quarter type of action. The kid runs hard, the undrafted rookie out of Howard. If I was the Bears, and I saw Robert Schmitz tweet this, and I agree, I'd give him some look earlier in these next two preseason games. Like, he's breaking tackles and running through guys late in this game yesterday, and you're just like, whoa, this guy pops. Like, he runs with power and speed. Like, Velus had a couple of nice runs, but I thought this guy looked more natural and looked better. Now, he's played the position longer, obviously, but I just kind of looked at this. I'm like, I think he could be a player, and maybe he's a guy who could help you on kick return too. So I don't know, man. Like this Ian Wheeler development is pretty interesting. I kind of compare it to Tyson Bagent last year, where Bagent entered training camp as a long shot to make the team. Started as the fourth string quarterback behind PJ Walker as the backup, and obviously Nathan Peterman as the number three. Beats out Peterman and Walker, gets the QB2 job. I'm not saying Ian Wheeler is going to be the number two, but could he surpass Travis Homer? Could he show more than Velus Jones? Do they trust him enough where they'd consider trading a guy like Khalil Herbert, who's entering the last year of his contract? Again, I've never suggested just give Khalil away, but if they like Wheeler and think he can play on Sundays, then I don't know. I'm in the business of keeping good players. So if he continues to have a good camp and plays well in the next two preseason games, I think he can make this pretty interesting for the roster decision makers between now and cut down day, which is still a few weeks away. So I'm keeping an eye on Ian Wheeler. Let me know what you guys think. Would you like Ian Wheeler to make the 53-man roster? 1 for yes, 0 for no. I got to see more, but I like what I saw yesterday, and I don't want to overvalue fourth quarter of a preseason game, but I do think running back is one of those positions where it's like, yes, obviously you're playing lesser players, but breaking tackles is breaking tackles. Hitting the hole hard is hitting the hole hard. Like, it's still it's one of those positions where it's like you either have a feel for the game and your style either works or it doesn't, and I think it works. So I'm very fascinated to see where that goes. But Demetric Felton is now out. Jaylon Hutchings is now in. Lots still to come. I'm sure there will be more roster maneuvering over the next couple of weeks. And exciting week ahead. You got joint practice against the Bengals. I think, is it Wednesday or Thursday? It's one of those days, just one joint practice. Then, of course, the game next Saturday. And then quick turnaround, play the Chiefs on Thursday before it's 16 days off before the season opener. So 2 games in the next 11 days or so. And then Couple weeks off. Obviously, they'll be practicing, and then it's go time, baby. And after yesterday, the way Caleb played, the defense seems locked in, even with some starters out. It's exciting times right now. Exciting times. So I, for one, can't wait to get this rolling. All right, I'm Harrison Graham. Appreciate to everybody who has tuned in, who has subscribed to the channel. Also, go check out my other YouTube channel, 4Verts. I'll put a link in the comments and the description for you guys. I'll reply to the pinned comment with that link as well. Go subscribe over there. I dropped a video a couple of hours ago on that channel. Preseason week 1 reaction. Took a look at all the rookie quarterbacks. Talked a little Justin Fields as well, how the guys performed in week 1. Talked Caleb, obviously. So if you want some more Caleb talk plus some other preseason week 1 takeaways, go check that out. And we will see you guys tomorrow here on Chicago Bears Now. Bear down.